You've felt it before. Saving feels safe, disciplined, almost comforting, like a warm blanket. You skip pleasures today, telling yourself tomorrow will thank you, even if tonight feels empty. This video exists to reveal why saving alone never makes you rich and when everything finally changes. Because there's an invisible line, a quiet turning point most people never even realize exists. Most believe discipline is the destination, not noticing it's only the doorway, never the house. I'm not here as a guru, just someone obsessed with financial psychology and hidden human patterns. I've spent years watching behavior, not numbers, because behavior decides who escapes scarcity. If this perspective resonates, stay with me, subscribe quietly, and let clarity reshape how you think. Here's the hidden truth. Saving is pushing a heavy stone uphill, exhausting, necessary, but limited. Your brain loves saving because it feels like survival, control, protection from imagined disasters. Survival mode keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small, cautious, endlessly reactive. In survival mode, every dollar saved feels like oxygen, even when progress barely moves. Studies quietly show reserves reduce stress, but alone, they rarely create upward momentum. Saving stabilizes the floor beneath you, but it never builds the staircase above. Imagine saving $500 monthly. It feels powerful, responsible, almost heroic at first. Years pass, the number grows, yet time keeps trading your effort for linear results. And here's where the magic happens. Compounding only wakes up after a critical threshold. Before that line, growth crawls. After it, decisions suddenly multiply themselves. Crossing that line changes identity, not just balances, shifting from protector to builder. You stop fearing expenses and start evaluating opportunities with calm precision. Careers shift, negotiations change, purchases feel intentional instead of emotionally defensive. But many sabotage progress, resetting to survival after one mistake or market scare. They obsess over coffee savings, ignoring decisions that could change decades. The real shift is thinking in opportunity cost, not daily deprivation. That hidden line isn't about money, it's about who you become afterward. Once crossed, saving stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like fuel. Money gains direction, purpose, momentum instead of quietly sleeping in defensive accounts. You notice patience replacing urgency, strategy replacing anxiety, long horizons replacing panic. The brain exits survival, entering construction mode where systems matter more than impulses. In construction mode, one good decision echoes louder than 1,000 tiny restrictions. This is why wealthy thinking feels calm, almost boring, yet unbelievably powerful over time. They protect downside early, then obsess over upside once stability is secured. That's the sequence most people reverse, staying stuck, protecting forever. You don't get rich by hiding money, but by teaching it to work. Savings are soldiers standing still. Investments are soldiers learning movement and formation. Once movement begins, time stops being your enemy and becomes an ally. Years compress, growth accelerates, and progress feels unfair to those still pushing stones. This is the psychological shock outsiders never understand watching sudden financial leaps. It wasn't sudden, it was invisible momentum finally crossing perception. Before the line, effort is loud. After it, results speak quietly. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and ask, "What does this unlock?" Fear-based choices fade, replaced by calm evaluation of long-term consequences. Even setbacks feel different, temporary dents instead of existential threats, because identity has shifted from saver to architect of outcomes. This doesn't remove discipline, it finally gives discipline a destination. The rich aren't reckless, they're selective about where effort truly matters. They zoom out, ignoring noise, protecting energy for pivotal decisions. That's when saving changes meaning, from hoarding safety to funding leverage. The line was never about dollars, but readiness to think beyond survival. And once you see it, you can't unsee the path forward. Before that awareness, most people mistake motion for progress, repetition for growth. They celebrate consistency without questioning direction, speed, or leverage applied. Saving feels productive because effort is visible, even when outcomes remain quietly capped. The mind loves certainty, even if certainty guarantees a small, predictable future. Real wealth demands tolerance for uncertainty, guided by logic, not blind risk. This tolerance only appears after safety is secured, never before. That's why rushing into growth without reserves creates panic, not freedom. But staying in reserves forever creates comfort, not transformation. The balance is delicate, psychological, deeply personal, and rarely taught correctly. Schools teach protection, parents teach caution, culture praises frugality without context. Almost nobody explains when frugality expires and leverage must begin. That expiration date isn't on a calendar, it's internal, behavioral, emotional. It arrives when money stops feeling fragile and starts feeling neutral. Neutral money doesn't command fear, guilt, or compulsive hoarding. It becomes a tool, not an emotional support object. That's when choices expand, horizons widen, and patience feels natural. You stop chasing hacks and start building frameworks that endure. Short-term wins lose their shine. Durable systems gain quiet appeal. This shift feels subtle, almost anticlimactic, yet everything downstream changes, because decisions compound faster than dollars ever could. The wealthy protect thinking time more than money itself. They know clarity produces returns no savings account can match. Once you grasp this, your strategy simplifies instead of complicates. You stop asking how to save more and ask where to deploy better. And that question rewires your financial future permanently. At this stage, money becomes quieter, no longer shouting warnings inside your head. Silence creates space, and space allows better questions to finally surface. You begin asking why certain people accelerate while others endlessly maintain position. The answer isn't intelligence, luck, or hustle, but timing aligned with mindset. They waited long enough to feel safe, then moved decisively, without hesitation. Most people either wait forever or jump too early, sabotaging both paths. The invisible skill is knowing when safety has done its job. From there, growth feels less dramatic and more inevitable. You stop tracking pennies and start tracking leverage points. One negotiation outweighs years of minor budget optimizations. One asset choice outperforms hundreds of disciplined sacrifices. This is why obsession with saving feels noble but limits upside. Nobility doesn't compound, but aligned action quietly does. Wealth grows when intention meets structure at the right moment. Before that moment, patience matters more than ambition. After that moment, courage matters more than restraint. The mistake is confusing patience with paralysis. True patience prepares systems, knowledge, and emotional readiness. Then action feels calm, almost boring, yet deeply powerful. You're no longer chasing wealth, you're allowing it to unfold. Fear loses authority, replaced by measured confidence. Money stops defining identity and starts reflecting it. That's when saving transforms from an end into a beginning. Not because you saved more, but because you finally changed internally. And from that identity, wealth becomes a consequence, not a pursuit.